Okay. Good morning, dear students. I am Dr. V. Nikita, working as an assistant professor in this college since last year. So I'm here to teach you pathophysiology subject this year. So while coming to pathophysiology, before coming to pathophysiology, first we have to know what is physiology. I think you have studied that in first year, that is anatomy and physiology. In that, in physiology part, what you will be reading, you will be studying the functioning of a particular system. So that is physiology. Then what is pathophysiology? Patho is nothing but disease. Disease is considered as a patho. So what is pathophysiology? Pathophysiology means study of the functioning of a particular system in a disease condition. That is pathophysiology. So initially at first pathophysiology term was given by Virsha. So Virsha has given that pathophysiology title. He titled it as like cell injury is defined as a variety of sorry, patho is nothing but patho means suffering, physiology means study of normal function. So altogether we can say that study of disordered function or breakdown of homeostasis in diseases is called as pathophysiology. What is homeostasis? Homeostasis means everything is working in a proper condition, then we call it as homeostasis. So that homeostasis will be disturbed. At that condition, if you're going to know the mechanism of it, then we call it as pathophysiology. So in pathophysiology, our first unit topic is cell injury. In cell injury, what we will be going to study are basic principles of cell injury and its adaptations. In that, causes, pathogenesis and morphology of cell injury is studied, and abnormalities in lipoproteinemia, glycogen infiltration and glycogen storage diseases are the topics covered under unit 1. So now we are going to discuss the first topic. So as you all know, what is cell? Cell is a basic structural and functional unit of a living organism. So every cell has its own role. It has different activities, different functions. Depending on that, it will be differentiated into different parts. So Virsha in 1859, he published a theory called cellular theory of a disease. Cell injury is defined as a variety of stresses a cell encounters as a result of changes in its internal and external environment. That means the definition itself clearly explains us that it is defined as a variety of stresses a cell encounters as a result of changes in its internal and external environment. Maybe due to the internal changes or due to external effects on this cell, there will be a stress on the cell. When there is a stress, there will be injury. That is considered as cell injury. What is cell injury? It is defined as a variety of stresses a cell encounters as a result of changes in its internal and external environment. We know that cells of the body have inbuilt mechanism to deal with changes in environment to an extent. That means if the temperature is cold, our body gets molded to that kind of temperature. When there is a heat, our body gets reacts to that temperature. So in our body itself, it has an inbuilt mechanism to deal with the changes in the environment. So as if I say that if there is a very cool temperature, what will happen? Our body shrinks. That means we'll get shivering. That means what our body does response, our body gives a response to contract all the cells. So that what will happen when there is a contraction, there will be generation of heat. So in this manner, in our body, the cells gets they get changes according to the environment. So the cellular responses to the stress may vary. Depending on the kind of stress the cell experiencing, it follows kind of it shows different kind of effects. So it depends mainly on two steps, that is the type of cell and tissues involved and extent and type of cell injury. Okay, depending on the type of the cell and the tissue involved and extent and type of cell injury. So if the stress is very mild, that means it can be adjustable. Then the effect produced by these normal cells is reversible cell injury. That means if a cell gets affected due to some stress, if it is mild to moderate, what will happen if that stress is removed? Again, the cell becomes to normal condition. If that kind of scenario is called as reversible cell injury. So in reversible cell injuries, what are the effects that it causes? Degenerations. Degenerative changes means shrinking of the size of the cell, and subcellular alterations and intracellular accumulations. Say if you are having any, if you get hit by something, what will happen? It gets swollen. So what does it? It's a mild to moderate stress. Again, after that stress is removed, not it becomes to normal size. So that is called intracellular accumulations. So when the stress is removed, it leads to repair and healing. Clear? If there is any mild to moderate stress on the cell or in the cell, what will happen? The changes will be reversible. Again, if the stress is removed, the cell becomes to normal size and shape and function. That is called repair and healing. So what are the things, what are the effects we are seeing on degenerations, subcellular alterations and intracellular accumulations? And part of that, if the stress is very severe and persistent, then the condition is called irreversible cell injury. Continuously, if the cell is experiencing the same kind of stress for a long duration of time, then it is called as irreversible cell injury. In this condition, what will happen? Even if the stress is removed after some time, the cells will not comes to the normal functioning. So thereby what will happen? Finally, it leads to cellular death. That is called irreversible cell injury. And next, altered functional demand. If there is any altered functional demand, like in case of tumors, what will happen? Uh, Cells undergo rapid multiplications. In that conditions, what will happen? It will convert into adaptations. That means our cell will get adapted to the kind of stress. So it includes atrophy, hypertrophy, hyperplasia, metaplasia, and dysplasia. Atrophy means the size of the cell will be completely decreased. Hypertrophy means the increase in the size. Hyperplasia means increase in the replication of the cells. That means number of cells multiplication will be more. These two are seen in case of tumors. Metaplasia means like that means epithelial cells gets converted into other kind of cells, connective tissue. So this is also in case of tumors. Mostly all these adaptations were seen in case of tumors, dysplasia. And so in this condition, what will happen? Even if the stress is removed, normal cell is restored, but it will not come to normal size. So even if the stress is removed, the size will be in the similar size, but further worsening will not be taken place. So this is the cellular response of cell injury, depending on the effect of the stress experiencing and how, these are classified into three types. Mild to moderate stress means what will happen? It is reversible cell injury. If it is severe and persistent, we consider it as irreversible cell injury. If there is an altered functional demand, we consider it as adaptations. So in all these three, in case of reversible cell injury, the cell comes to a normal stage of functioning and normal structure and function. So thereby it causes repair and healing. In the other two conditions, it is not possible. Okay. So when there is increased functional demand, the cells may adapt to the changes which are expressed morphologically and then returns back to a normal condition when the stress is removed. When the stress is mild to moderate, the injured cell may recover. That means reversible cell injury. When the injury is persistent, cell death may occur. If there is cell death, we consider it as irreversible cell injury. The residual effects of reversible cell injury may persist in the cell as evidence of cell injury at subcellular level, or metabolites may accumulate within the cell. So even after the cell comes to normal size and functioning, that effects will be seen in case of subcellular changes in the intracellular accumulation. So these are the changes that were observed even after the repair and healing. And before we come to know injury of the cell, we have to know what is the exact normal structure of the cell. This thing already you know, what are the parts of the cell and all, and what are the functions of each part of the cell. So Is that clear? What is cell injury? Cell injury means it's a response of the cell to the stress it causes, whether it is due to internal and external environment. So how this stress is caused? This stress is depending on the stress, the cellular response will be of three types: reversible, irreversible, and adaptations. So why this, how this cell injury occurs, what are the reasons, that we call it as etiology. Here we do not call it as causes. Coming to pathophysiology, we use the term etiology. That means causes of cell injury. So majorly it is caused, the cell injury is caused by two major ways. One is by genetic causes and the other is acquired causes. Genetic causes means that are inherent causes. We cannot change that, they are permanent changes. And the other is acquired causes. Acquired causes means these are acquired after the birth due to some external factors. That is called as acquired cases. So here we are going to discuss about the acquired causes of the cell injury. So first I will enlist the acquired causes of cell injury. They are categorized as under like hypoxia and ischemia, physical agents, chemical agents and drugs, microbial agents, immunological agents, nutritional derangements, aging, psychogenic diseases, iatrogenic factors, and idiopathic diseases. Now we'll discuss in brief regarding each and every causes of the cell injury. What is hypoxia and ischemia? Hypoxia, that means decrease in the oxygen levels, that is called as hypoxia. Ischemia means decrease in the blood supply to a particular part of the body is considered as a ischemia. To a cell, decrease in the blood supply is called as ischemia. So the major reasons for cell injury is hypoxia and ischemia. We know that cells of different tissues require oxygen for its proper functioning, and in order to generate energy, oxygen is compulsory to show its function. So because of the deficiency of oxygen is nothing but hypoxia. Because of this deficiency, what will happen? The cell will not be able to do all these functions which it actually does when there is oxygen. So the mechanism how hypoxic cell injuries occurs is by two types. One is reduced blood supply to cells. That means if there is no proper blood supply, that condition is called ischemia. If there is no blood supply, there won't be proper oxygen because oxygen is carried by the hemoglobin. So if there is no oxygen, what will happen? That condition is called as hypoxic condition. Where do we find these things? In ischemia, and disorders of oxygen carrying capacity of RBCs is seen in case of anemia. In case of anemia, what will happen? The amount of hemoglobin will be less. So when there is less hemoglobin, less RBCs, what will happen? There will not be proper supply of oxygen. And then carbon monoxide poisoning. What is carbon monoxide poisoning? In case of like when the patient is breathing, again, instead of oxygen, if it breathes more amount of carbon monoxide, that is called carbon monoxide poisoning. That in that condition, a percentage of carbon monoxide dominates the percentage of oxygen, thereby it causes the cell injury. And some heart diseases. Why heart diseases? All the heart diseases, they controls all the circulatory functions. If there is some heart disease, what will happen? There will be poor supply of blood to particular part of the cells. And lung diseases and increased demand of tissues. That means when you are doing some exercise or doing some drastic or you're doing some kind of exercise, what will happen? At the time of doing exercise, you require more amount of oxygen. Why? You require more amount of calories to burn during the time of exercise. At that time, demand of tissues for the oxygen will be more, but the supply of oxygen is less. At that condition, what will happen? Requirement of oxygen will be low. In that conditions also, it causes cell injury due to hypoxia. Clear with it? This is hypoxia and ischemia. What is hypoxia? Deficiency of oxygen is called as hypoxia. And what is ischemia? Reduced supply of blood to cells is considered as ischemia. Okay. So next, coming to physical agents. So what are the physical agents that causes cell injury? Mechanical trauma. That means mechanical trauma means if somebody hits you, that also comes under mechanical trauma. Road accidents, or you accidentally fall from bed or something, that also comes under mechanical trauma. Next, thermal trauma. Thermal trauma, that means due to increase, like when there is more heat and more cold, extreme conditions, extreme temperatures, that is considered as thermal trauma. Electricity, like current shock and all, and radiations. If you get exposed to more amount of radiations, even that pregnant ladies, they should not get exposed to X-ray and CT scan radiations. Why? It causes some congenital anomalies. So that radiations also causes cell injury, and rapid changes in atmospheric pressure, sudden changes in the atmospheric also causes some kind of cell injury. So what are the physical agents? Mechanical trauma, thermal trauma, electricity, radiation, and rapid changes in the atmospheric pressure. Clear? Then chemicals and drugs. So some chemicals also cause cell injury, like chemical poison such as cyanide. As you all know that once we just if we touch cyanide to a tongue, what will happen? Suddenly death will be taken place. So these are the heavy metals: cyanide, arsenic, mercury. These are very dangerous chemicals. And then strong acids and alkalis, environmental pollutants, insecticides, pesticides, oxygen at high concentrations, hypertonic glucose and salt. As you know that normal saline is 0.09% NaCl, right? Sodium chloride. Hypertonic sodium chloride is 3% sodium chloride. That means the concentration of the sodium chloride will be more. They are also used in some kind of hyponatremia and all, but that also causes cell injury, like hypertonic glucose and salt. Hypertonic glucose means 25% dextrose. That is called as hypertonic glucose. And 3% NaCl is called as hypertonic salt. So this also causes cell injury. How that mechanisms will be seen in the later classes. Okay. Then social agents like alcohol and smoking. Next, narcotic drugs. So all these also causes cell injury, and therapeutic administration of drugs. A few drugs also causes cell injury. Even any drug which is given in high doses also causes cell injury. So therapeutic administration of drugs. So all this comes under chemicals and drugs. Clear with it? Like chemical poisons such as cyanides, arsenic, mercury, all these comes under heavy metals, strong acids and alkalis, environmental pollutants, insecticides, pesticides, oxygen at high concentration, hypertonic salt and glucose, social agents, and therapeutic administration of drugs. Next, coming to microbial agents. We know each and every microbe is harmful to us, like bacteria, rickettsia, viruses, fungi, protozoa, metazoa, and other parasites. All these causes cell injury. Then coming to immunological agents. What are the immunological agents? Usually our body has an immune system. What does our immune system do? If any foreign particle enters, if any harm occurs to our body has an innate ability to fight against it. But in case of immunological agents, what will happen? Our own immune system actually protects our body, but in some conditions, what will happen? It will consider our body's host cells as a foreign particles and starts to kill that particles and kill our own cells. That is called immunological diseases. That is seen in hypersensitivity reactions, anaphylactic reactions, and autoimmune reactions. Hypersensitivity means some people they are like allergic to pollen grains. If pollen grains falls, what will happen? Our body has to remove it, but instead of that, our body itself creates kind of rashes all over the body. That is hypersensitivity reactions. And anaphylactic reactions. Anaphylactic reactions are commonly seen in case of bites, bites caused by scorpions. Next, honeybees. In that cases, we can see this anaphylactic reactions. And then autoimmune diseases. I already said that our body itself regards itself as a foreign particles and kills that. Like in case of osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and then SLE. In these conditions, our body considers ourselves as a foreign particles and damages it. Next, coming to nutritional derangements. Derangements means uh, like ups and downs. Nutritional derangements, in that nutritional deficiency and nutritional excess. Nutritional deficiency, already you know that starvation, marasmus, kwashiorkor. What is starvation? Decreased deficiency of carbohydrates is considered as starvation. Marasmus and kwashiorkor, they are deficiency of proteins. That is marasmus and kwashiorkor. Next, what is anemia? Deficiency of hemoglobin is considered as anemia. And even deficiency of some trace elements like zinc, even some kind of deficiency of trace elements also comes under nutritional deficiency. Then coming to nutritional excess, obesity, atherosclerosis, heart disease, hypertension. All these also causes cell injury. And next coming to aging. What is aging? We know if we see some kind of leaves after its age progress, what will happen? It will turns into yellow color, then it dries off and then falls off. The same thing happens in our own cells. What is there? Due to aging or senescence, what will happen? Our body's cells, they'll lose their ability to undergo replication and repair, and ultimately it leads to cell death. Finally, it leads to death of the individual. If this thing we can say in case of like in case of old age people, there will be some changes in the brain. If you take a CT scan, there will be some changes in like atrophic changes, age related changes that will be seen in case of CT and MRI of the brain. So what in that case, what will happen? Due to aging, the cells of the brain, what will they'll become shrinkage will takes place, and then it will not undergo replication. Even if something happens, it cannot it won't be able to undo repair of that cell. Finally, what will happen? That cell will undergo death, and one cell leads to tissue death, and finally it may lead to death of the individual. That is in case of aging. Next, psychogenic diseases. Actually, there is no particular mechanism like how psychogenic diseases are related to cell injury, but we consider some diseases also may progress our cell injury. That is depression and schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is nothing but mental disorders, like it is a psychological disorder. And next, drug addiction to some kind of drugs, and alcoholism and smoking. All this comes under psychogenic diseases. Next, coming to iatrogenic diseases. What are iatrogenic diseases? See, no doctor or no physician will try to harm the patient by themselves. By accidentally, some mistakes may happen and may cause the death of the patient. So that conditions, that kind of cases, we consider it as iatrogenic causes. So if the physician, he may like if the patient is having some kind of fever. Actually, the reason for that is dengue fever, but he did not advise to go for platelet count. So he skipped, like he missed that. He missed to rule out that condition. So he just gave paracetamol and he discharged the patient. He sent the patient. So, but after some time, the patient died due to decrease in the platelet count. So that kind of reasons will be considered as iatrogenic causes. That means occurrence of disease or death due to error in judgment by the physician and untoward effect of administered therapy. And if you are administering the wrong medication, instead of one medication, if you are giving some other medication, the patient is developing a new problem, like he is developing vomiting. Instead of curing that disease, he is having some other new complaints. So that comes under iatrogenic causes. And next, idiopathic diseases. Idiopathic means the name itself indicates that it's of unknown cause. So that is comes under idiopathic diseases. Clear? So how many we have studied the causes of cell injury? 10. First thing is hypoxia and ischemia. What is hypoxia? Decrease in deficiency of oxygen supply to a cell. And then what is ischemia? Reduced supply of blood to the cell. That is considered as ischemia. Both of these, what will happen? In both these conditions, supply of oxygen will be reduced to the cell, and if the cell does not undergo all its normal functions, it does not produce energy, thereby it causes cell injury. Next, coming to physical agents. As we know, in physical agents, we are studied about mechanical trauma, thermal trauma, electrical injuries. All this comes under physical injuries. Then chemical injuries. Chemical injuries caused by some kind of chemicals and drugs. So the list of that is given. Next, nutritional derangements. Next, aging, psychogenic diseases, iatrogenic causes, and idiopathic. So all these are the causes of cell injury. In the next class, we'll be going to discuss about the next classes we'll be going to discuss about the pathogenesis of cell injury. Thank you.